Hey everybody, welcome to JK Next Garage. Today we're going to show you how we went from this to that, plus a little bonus on making jigs for your upper cowl to fit in right. All right, upper cowl time. Let's get that thing down to here, get her installed. Done. All right, upper cowl is set in there. I got it clamped down. I got my bar across. If you've seen that previous video on me leveling the car up and leveling all this stuff up, that's what I did before, and that's what I'm going to do again. So, okay, so got the level on there, level there. Let's move this whole unit down. I try to get that camera lined up, but level there. And then, of course, you know, my body cart's level. I checked that before. Let me just get this. Whoops. Wow, that wasn't very loud, was it? A little level on here. That's level. So I think I'm right back to where I was. So let me take this off of here. And I'll show you where I took my measurements from. So all the measurements I take are like right off of the body cart here. Right off the top tube of the body cart. You saw that level. So that tube is level, and I'll just set the camera up and show you where all the points are that I took my measurements from. Now, these measurements, when I show you, I'm not going to give the exact measurements because you might be taking them off of different reference points. So, here we go. All right, so my measurements, I took a measurement from the body cart to the center of this bolt right here. And then from the body cart to the top of this upper cowl, right at that 90-degree bend right here. And then I took a measurement from my center line. I have a center line on the body cart here, and I have a center line on the upper cowl all the way through here. So I took my measurement up to here, to the top of the body cart, or top of the body cart, top of the upper cowl there. And then over here, the same thing. To the center of this bolt, to the top of this here. So I took some reference points from there to the holes where the identification VIN number plate is. I took some measurements from here to there, and I put a mark. I put a mark on the cowl here so I knew which one I was going to. Then I'd also take some measurements to this hole, and then off the body cart up to these holes, just to see how close they were to the original. And these are pretty close. They're not dead on. They're over this way just a little bit farther than they were on the original one, but I have it all centered right here. This is the center mark. It's dead center in the car. This is exactly where it was before. So these are only like a 16th off, 8th off maybe at the most. So those are the points of reference I took. Hopefully that helps you with getting measurements for your upper cowl if you got to put one in. And I'll get this all screwed down and we'll see what it looks like. All right, so after I get a few screws in here so that I can get it put back on here without using all these clamps, then we'll put our jig back on this way. Make sure everything lines up with the holes on the jig here. So here we go. Alrighty. Got a bunch of screws in here, up top, on the sides. Got a couple here holding this cowl up. I got all the clamps off. So got my level back on here and we're good to go. Level here. I leveled this up already. So now I'm gonna put the jigs on here and see how they line up. Okay, jigs are on here, jigs on here. They fit right in there. They are right where they need to be. So I'm thinking this upper cowl is where it needs to be. I'm just going to clamp on the outer cowl here, outer cowl shoulder piece here and over here, just to make sure that I'm not interfering with anything. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So far, so good. Okay, so with the jigs on, I put the old outer cowl on the driver's side here back on because this piece of junk won't fit on there. This is that hole is way too far up. When I put that on there, that hole comes way up here. It's supposed to be right there. I can't get it to fit right. So I don't know. I may end up patching that old one with the pieces from that new one. And then this side, this is a new one here. This one fits just fine. Hole lines up and everything. So this one I'll probably put on here. Anyways, so the whole purpose was to make sure that my upper cowl was going to be like it is supposed to be. Nothing was going to interfere. So everything's lining up real good. So I guess the next thing is put the rest of the screws in. But first, we got to epoxy the inside there, the lower cowl, and the underside of the upper cowl. Okay, so upper cowl is all prepped on the inside. This is just the Eastwood 2K epoxy primer in a can. Same with the lower cowl. Got that all prepped, and then I just coated this with a little bit of satin black. Just wanted to see how it was going to look. And this is all temporary until the entire car goes to media blasting. So I don't know when that's going to be. So I thought I'd just get them sealed up for right now, and didn't think it would hurt. So let's get to putting that upper cowl on. All right, so put the jigs on, put the leveling bolts through the jigs on here so I could level this back up, and it's perfect there. Just putting this on these. It's level there. So I think we're good to go to start putting all the tech screws in before we start welding. All right, got my box of tech screws here that I'm going to use and drill, and let's get them put in. Pretty thick metal right through here, going through about 3 layers plus a thick one right here, so that'll be good and tight. I think I'm going to start from this way and work back in case things start getting pinched in here. Should be all right though. Good and tight though. You'll put a clamp on this one. It's sticking up just a little bit, so I want to get it down tight so that the shavings from the tech screw don't get wedged underneath it. Same with this one. Of course, you need a screw. All right. All right, I don't think you need to see me do the other side, but well, we got one more left to do. Perfect. All right, I'll get this finished up and we'll take every other one out and get it welded up. Got all the screws in, and basically I just put them back in the holes that I drilled the spot welds out to take the upper and lower cowl out, like I said before. So once again, I'm going to level this up now that I got all the screws in. I know it's overkill, but that's what I do. So, all right, got half the welds done. As you can see, I'm moving pretty quick so you don't see how bad they are. No, they turned out okay. Some of them we got boogered up a little bit, but all in all, not too bad. They're getting better as I'm going, so thought I'd show you on the inside what it looks like. So, not too bad. Good penetration on these. Thought you'd get a kick out of this one right here. Yeah, accidentally got it stuck through the hole. So, get a good laugh out of that. So, anyways, let's get this finished up and I'll bring it back when it's all done. All right, welding's all done. So, there we go, all welded on there. Except for the very front. I'm not doing that until I start in on the firewall there. So, but everything else is welded up. Some good ones, some not so good ones. But I would say I'm getting the hang of that a little bit better. And the inside, oops, inside turned out pretty good. Got a couple gnarly ones, but for the most part, all looks good. Okay, let's get the jigs off of there and we'll grind down the welds, get some primer on there and see how sturdy it is. I'm sure it's fine, and we'll go from there. All right, so taking these jigs off, I just wanted to show that when I loosen these up, you can see how loose that is, how loose this is. That means my jig stayed right where it needed to be. There was no flexing or anything like that after I got done welding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some measurements on where these bolt holes are for the jigs. I had a subscriber message me on, he doesn't have an upper cowl on his car and needs to know where to get this all lined up. So once again, this is a 67 Firebird. Hopefully these measurements will at least get you close. So I'll get those measurements right now. Okay, so when I say that these are these measurements that I give you should probably be close enough. This bolt here, that nut is a welded nut that's in there, so that doesn't move. That's a welded nut in that hole, so that doesn't move. But this one here, this one moves back and forth and up and down. So I'm going to screw this in and get it in the center of that hole, and then I'll get the measurements, and like I said, hopefully it'll be close enough for you to get yours lined up. So, all right, so what I got here is I got my straight edge. You might have seen this before when I was building the body cart. So this is straight, so I'm going to put it on that bolt and that bolt. And it's nice because it's flimsy and it'll curve around this upper cowl here. And now I'm going to get a measurement from the side here to the side of that bolt right there. So this is going to be our first measurement. So let me get it this way. So from this side of that bolt to the same side of this bolt, which should give us center to center, it's upside down to you, but that's 13 3/8. So 13 3/8 center to center from this bolt hole to this bolt hole. That's in a straight line. All right, so next I think I'm going to try and get from basically the top of this bolt to the top of the pad right here. So as you can see, I've got the level on that. I've got the flat end of the nut and the flat end of the bolt. So I can level that All right, so I've got, Kelly's holding that piece of aluminum right there on top of that bolt, and I'm going to get a measurement. You can see it's level coming across, and we get that measurement to the top of this pad, which is exactly a ½ inch to the top of this pad right here. So you got a minus 3/16 for the bolt. So Kelly says it's 5/16. So okay. You come over, 5/16 down is the top of this pad. So now we'll get a measurement from the top of this pad to the center of this hole. All right, so I'm just using my magnet level here to get a straight edge out here. This isn't really level, this pad isn't. I don't know if it's just because that's how the upper cowl sits or whatever, but so the center of that bolt from that pad, 3 3/8. So from this pad down to the center of this hole is 3 3/8. Now what we'll do is we'll get from the center of this hole to the center of this hole this way. All right, so what I did is I took a measurement from the cowl here and transferred the mark to right there, and then ran a level down, got my mark down to here. And so the center of that bolt, of this bolt, to the center of this bolt is going to be, looks to me like it's 1 1/8. So from the center of this hole to the center of this hole is 1 1/8. I guess if you don't have an upper cowl on here and you need to figure out how high it is or whatever, and you still have your firewall on, I can give you a measurement from here. This is, I believe this is where the fuse box or the wires transfer over from the inside to the engine bay. Whoops. And then this measurement to the center of that hole is 7 1/4 to the center of this bolt. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you can make your jig off of that. And if you don't have your upper cowl on, hopefully you can take these measurements and get it close. All right, so just about forgot we need to get the measurement from this here to that there, this way. So as you can see, there's a little lip right in here. So I got to put a couple washers on here, and Kelly's going to hold the straight edge, and then we'll get the measurement. All right, so like I say, you can see this little, it kind of jets out right here. So that's why my jig, I ended up putting, you know, this is an 1/8 inch piece of steel there, and that, see how I cut it for that angle, so that would fit flat on there. So I'm going to use those washers in place of that for a straight edge right here, and then go out. Okay, so from there to right here to that hole is 5 inches, exactly 5 inches. Now, minus the washers here, it's going to be minus 3/16. So 5 inches minus 3/16 is going to be 4 13/16. That's that measurement, 4 13/16 from here out to that side of the body or the pillar or whatever you want to call it. Okay, well that's it for the upper cowl. I don't think you need to see me grind all these down and get it touched up. You'll probably see that on the next video after that's all done. Couple of things to remember. This strap right here did not come on my upper cowl, so I took that off the old one and attached that before I sprayed the epoxy on the inside there. And also that bracket right there, that bracket right there, I put that on. That's for the dash support. So put that on before I did the epoxy on the inside of the lower cowl. So I'll get these welds ground down and sealed up with some primer, and we'll be on to the next thing. All right, well, that's it for the upper cowl and lower cowl here. I know it's been a while. It's taken a while, I guess. And, well, that's the winter months for you and other stuff going on. So anyway, it's a far cry from the original. And next up, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to mock up this dash and dash pan, and then we'll see how that fits in. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for coming along. I hope all this helped, and we'll see you on the next one.